Hello, and welcome to Old Scary World. Today we'll be looking at the wells of Santa Cristina in Sardinia, which of course is part of Italy in the Mediterranean Sea. These very interesting tombs were built sometime in the 1st to 2nd millennia BC, so around the time of the birth of Christ. And there's approximately 70 of these scattered across the island of Sardinia. Now, what I find particularly interesting, as you'll see in this first picture here, is just how almost modern it is, how clean these lines are, and just how almost in I wouldn't say immaculate, but in very good condition, and just, all that kind of stuff. And you see here too, in this different image. Now what's curious about this, some people might say that it's been, reconstructed, or this is an add-on or something, but is you have these old kind of style here, and then this here. But what's really interesting is that this is part of the Nuragic culture. Okay, the Nuragics it's from an ancient era, and the historians, they still argue about the purpose of these things. But the Nuragic culture, they built a lot of other things. I have another picture, not just of this tomb, but of other things that they built. And the Nuragic culture isn't talked about a lot, but I think there's definitely some clues there. So here's another shot of the well of Santa Cristina. Okay, and you can see this kind of stuff here, and then this here, and it's really interesting stuff. And I don't know if this is like two different time periods, because this is way more sophisticated than this. Okay, so that's one aspect of it. And like I said, there's about 70 of these things scattered across Sardinia, so maybe I'll do another video of a different one. But yeah, just so we're perfectly clear, this is the well of Santa Cristina. Okay, and so what I'm seeing here in my notes is that they believed to have had two different purposes, and one of which was water access, hence the well, and also occult or astronomical functions. But they were also said to be burial towers. So I don't understand where the towers are. There's towers. Oh, in the other picture there's towers. But also to be the burial grounds for giants. I thought that was particularly interesting, is that they were burial grounds for giants. As we all know, that ties in with the Tartaria and the old world theory. So this isn't the tomb or the well of Santa Cristina. This is another example of Nuragic culture being applied to buildings. This is the kinds of buildings that the Nuragic culture built. Okay, the Nuragic, I don't know if they were considered a people or just a culture, but there was also a period of time to what historians would call the Nuragic period. So this is an example, and this is the towers that they would build. And I have another image like this too. But you can kind of see what's going on here. This is very similar, this kind of construction here as these walls here. Okay, so we can at least pinpoint that down, so that's good. And there's some, there's a pretty good amount of stuff left here. They've managed to preserve it or whatever. Who knows what's underneath, obviously. Okay, and then we have this shot. It's pretty similar to the other ones, but here you see a little bit more of this kind of cobblestone thing, and then it looks like this used to be more detailed, and it's chipped off. Maybe this used to be more like that, this triangular kind of thing. But once again, you see how clean this stuff is. this is like really like pristine compared to the walls here. So that kind of struck me as almost like modern looking, which is weird. Okay, and then you see that here too. You know, it looks a little bit more weathered here in this shot, and it matches more or less. Like it's been like the more time was put into these steps, obviously, and they stood the test of time. And you know, maybe I'm obsessing a little bit over it, but nonetheless, it's interesting. Okay, here's an overhead shot. You see the kind of almost like pyramid, you know, kind of thing going on, and then you can kind of look at this as an eye. So then you have the pyramid with the eye, and then it's like a keyhole. Okay, and then it's like a whole other eye. It looks more like an eye. But also this here, this really, you know, sticks out as like a pyramid type structure with the you know, Eye of Providence, all-seeing eye kind of thing going on here. So that's pretty interesting. Okay, here's another shot. And you see these steps going here, and then you see this hole here. You're gonna see how that all makes sense in a second here. Okay, so here's a drawing. Here's like a rough outline of what's going on. So you walk down the steps here. Here's the water. Okay, so then there's those steps, and then you come back out here, and you look. There's those steps. There's that hole. Zoom in here. There's that hole, and then you'd put the bucket down and draw the water out and pull it up. But if you wanted to walk down, check it out, see what's going on, make sure the water's clean, make sure there's no, you know, dead body in there or anything like that, you can walk down there and check it out. Or if you know, I'd like to find a video maybe with somebody going down there, see what it looks like down there. Couldn't find pictures. I mean, I know there's not much going on, but it'd still be interesting. Okay, so here's another shot of this Nuragic castle building thing. And once again, this has been coming up a lot lately. I don't know if there's something to it, but it's been coming up a lot lately. Is these buildings that remind me sort of like the kind of stuff that they built in the Southwest US, or you know, in South America as well. But then also it's got kind of this like almost like Scotland kind of, you know, vibe to it. But remember, this is in the Mediterranean. This is on the island of Sardinia. So yeah, once again, very old world looking. You know, they go through all the effort to build this stuff, and then, you know, it just disappears. You know, and then it's dug out, and then it's rediscovered. And where'd they go? What happened? You know, there's a whole story there, official story kind of thing. Possibly I'll do a video about the Nuragic culture. It seems worth looking into at least, and we'll see where we are after that. Here's another shot here. Okay, and it's kind of redundant, I'm not gonna lie, but it's interesting to see it from different cameras, different things. You see how steep these stairs are and all that stuff, and then there's it goes down there. And that's about it. So kind of a short video. Obviously we could get into it a little bit more. I'll see if I can find more pictures or videos or information about these. I'll try to find a different well. Like I said, there's about 70 of them on the island of Sardinia, so it shouldn't be too hard to find some other examples. And yeah, I'm just trying to upload more often and cover more random things like this, and we'll just see how that goes. So thank you to all my Patreon subscribers and all the people over at Instagram. If you haven't already, check out my Instagram. It's called Mudflood Memes or Old Scary World. You can find me there too. And yeah, so I'll see what I can find about this, but I just want to share that with you guys real quick. So once again, thanks for watching. Goodbye.